Cashflow Diary Podcast, episode 248.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Cashflow Diary Podcast, the podcast that teaches you insider tips, tactics, and strategies for creating leverage streams of cash flow into your life. Learn from top-performing entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and thought leaders from across the globe as they share their secrets to success. Like what you learn on this and other Cashflow Diary podcast episodes? Go to learninvestingnow.com and sign up to receive powerful tips and information that will help you succeed as an entrepreneur and investor. Now, here's your host, investor, entrepreneur, business owner, educator, speaker, author, and master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game, Jay Massey.
All right, everyone. Hopefully you are having some fun from your holiday weekend and probably listening even on another holiday. So maybe you're not even at work today. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play for you some of the content from inside the members area. What does this mean? This means that our members get to ask me questions all the time and consistently, and I'm going to play one of those sessions for you because I'm guessing that their questions are similar to your questions, and you'll probably get something out of this. So we'll probably go longer than normal time, but I think you're going to be okay with that. And secondly, for those of you who are wondering, you can still get a copy of the book, Cashflow Diary, 10 Steps to Creating Wealth in Any Economy. Just go over to cashflowdiary.com/free book. Again, that's cashflowdiary.com/free book. You can still get a PDF copy. And I know that some of you prefer to take down books inside an audio format, and I am one of them. So if you go to that same website, you'll have a special offer for the audiobook. And I might say that there's only a certain amount of content that is only in the audiobook. So in fact, if you got the audiobook, you already know this, because I created special content just for the audiobook in and of itself. Anyway, what I want to do is I want to get you over to the place to where you can get or at least listen to get your questions answered. So let's go ahead and not delay this any further.
Jay Massey here with the CashflowDiary.com, and in this video, we're going to hopefully demystify for you some concepts around inflation as well as deflation in 2 minutes or less. So, when it comes to inflation and deflation, do you just even understand what it is? I'm going to do my best to give you a simple understanding. Let's pretend, for example, that what we have are things that we consider to be useful goods and or services, so occasionally an asset. Say, take this particular item, for example. If we suddenly have, this is the last one available and you absolutely need it, but we print a whole lot of more money, we haven't increased the number of units that have been produced, but we have increased, as measured in dollars or currency, the value of this particular item. But because it doesn't produce any additional utility value, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's more useful. However, as measured in dollars, the price goes up, and that's what we call inflation. So think of it this way. If this was a house, if we had a house, we got one little house right here, and we suddenly have a whole bunch of dollars chasing after this house, trying to get it. This house, as measured in dollars, increases in value. Therefore, we experience inflation, or we say the price of the house went up. Well, if we have less dollars chasing the same asset, we have the exact opposite occurring, also known as deflation. At the end of the day, they're just inversely proportional to one another. More dollars chasing the same number of assets or less dollars chasing the same number of assets results in either pricing increasing or decreasing, i.e., your money buys less in one case and your money buys more and stretches further. Thanks for watching. To begin to protect yourself against the evils of inflation and to get started in real estate investing today, here's what I want you to do. Click the link right here. It's going to take you to a page that's going to teach you the 10 most basic words that you could use right now today to get started in real estate investing and find all the buyers, sellers, and investors that you need to begin to build your business. If you're on a mobile device, click the first link in the description below, and always remember, hit subscribe. If you like the information that you just received, by all means, give us that thumbs up and click the like button. And if you've got some additional questions, please comment below because I'd love to answer them. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time. Howdy, peoples. Glad that you're here. We're going to go through, obviously, get your questions answered again today. Definitely for those of you that are here live, I see you right over here as normal. And for those of you who are here, maybe you're in a trial, etc., glad that you're here. Definitely want to make sure that you guys understand how it works. Either type your question in live and or submit them ahead of time, and I will answer them. Again, I never promise that you're going to like my answers. I just promise that you'll have them. And I'll tell you exactly what it is that you're going to do. All right. So new episodes of the podcast, as you guys know, released every Monday and Thursday. I want to say a big thank you. We had our highest download month last month of the podcast, which is awesome. It just means that you guys are out there sharing and caring about what it is that we're bringing to you. So if you haven't already subscribed, by all means, go over to cashflowdiarypodcast.com. Make that happen. And star, rate, and review. Remember to star, rate, and review. If you star, rate, and review the podcast, when we give items away, you'll be entered automatically. We just go from the people who have star rated and reviewed, and when you leave your username, that's typically what we announce as the winner. Hey, so-and-so username, this is, you get to win X, Y, and Z. So, you know, that way you can send us your information and we can send you the prize. But if you don't star, rate, and review, guess what? Well, can't help you at all. So we're going to go through the questions. Looks like we have a few of them, not a ton, but a lot. And I see a number of you who are logged into the to online. So I'm going to take the one online first. That looks like a long one, but let's see. It says Justin. Hey, Justin, long time no talk. I definitely put in a lot of time evaluating potential deals. My question is, how can I structure an upfront fee to be compensated at closing for structuring, analyzing, valuing the deal? If so, at what percentages? And is this something you would disclose to you investors? When I played football, we had a saying, don't count on someone else's money. I don't want someone feeling some type of way about my upfront fee, or am I looking too deeply into what their issue may be or may not? Justin, knowing you as I do, you're definitely looking too deeply. That's your normal habit. You and Blake should get together because you guys do that all the time. But that's okay. Now, as far as an upfront fee, yeah, you can have one, of course. And is it disclosed? Always. There is, I don't understand, what do you mean by how can you structure? It's an upfront fee. It's 10 grand, 5 grand, 1%, 10%. That's it. You're not doing anything else beyond that. You're stating what the fee is, and you give that information over to the attorney when he puts the paperwork together, and it gets paid. So it's not that difficult. That's pretty much it. So Brittany has a question. It says, how do I figure out my investor identity? I have heard this mentioned a couple of times now, but have not seen any exercises or videos specifically on this. Am I missing something? Note from Jake, please give a brief description of what investor identity is and why it's important. Jake, was that supposed to? I don't know if that was still supposed to be on the slide, but it is today. So, yes. Okay. Investor identity. Well, first of all, Brittany, to answer your question, you haven't seen any exercises or video specifically on this. You are absolutely correct. That is one of the things that we not yet recorded, to be honest. And how do you figure that out to some degree? You can get glimpses and pieces of it, especially as you listen to the podcast and watch a number of things, but we've not created those exercises. However, I will say this. I'm doing a special presentation tonight, in fact, for a group, which you guys are eventually going to see. So they're getting the first crack at the rough draft, so to speak. And then I'll be doing a live version of it tomorrow, in the Orange County area, which will begin to answer that very question, because that's one of the things that we need, to give you more information on is what is your investor identity? How do you understand them, et cetera? How do you determine what that might be and the deals that go along with that? And then secondly, the other thing that I keep thinking about, because you guys keep asking, is the creative acquisition stuff. How on earth, what's the difference between a purchase money mortgage, land contract, and all these other things? So This is all something that we're working on. There isn't a ton of it, but let me give you a brief description. Investor identity is that common thing. So for example, you've heard of customer profiles and or target demographics, those types of things. I strongly believe your identity, and that's one of those human forces that we strive to stay close to. If you see yourself as a certain type of person, you will gravitate towards all the things that go along with that. You'll develop the habits, the characteristics, the thought patterns, etc. So if I said to myself, I was now a heavyweight champion boxer, or I was on the path to become a heavyweight champion boxer, those of you who know me know that that is not something I say to myself. However, if I would start developing the habits, the actions, and the thought patterns of the heavyweight champion boxer or the bodybuilder, etc. We all identify with certain groups of society, etc. Same is true when it comes to investors. There are types of investors. Some of you are growth investors. Some of you are income investors. Some of you are income then growth investors. Some of you are what I would call rehab and holders. Some of you prefer to actually just get in and get out, fix and flip type of thing. And all of those things become types of investors. Here's the key. Especially if you're raising capital or if you're putting any sort of deal together and having a team, you need to know what type of investor identity they are, because they're going to have the inside secrets on how to be effective as a fix and flipper. So as a very, very basic, simple example, if I hire a contractor whose background is fixing and flipping, but my investor identity is buy and hold, we have two completely different ways of attacking the same problem. And by that same problem, I mean, hey, we need a new kitchen. The contractor who's a fix and flipper has a certain way of doing things and a certain set of resources related to fixing and flipping a kitchen, which is wonderful in that environment. But you take that same contractor and say, now, instead of fixing and flipping this kitchen, we're going to keep this entire property, which typically calls for different types of construction or rehabilitation and definitely different types of materials so that they become more durable, not necessarily the expensive granite or all those types of things. There are a number of different little small nuances that make a huge difference over time, and understanding investor identity, not only yours, but the marketplace, the team, as well as the deal, is absolutely key. So Brittany, you're right. There needs to be more information. It's coming. I promise. All right. Not your usual studio today, Jay. Ha! You noticed. No, what it comes down to, Susan, is I'm wearing a white shirt today. A white shirt on a white background does a floating head make. So yes, if you would end up just seeing a floating head and some arms going around the screen, and it would look really weird if we did that. So yes, there you go. There it is. So Tiffany has a question. I want to start investing in real estate, doing subject to purchases. Okay. I'm getting a list of pre-foreclosures from the assessor website. Okay. I plan on marketing with postcards or letters to the homeowners. Okay. Is this the right thing to start with? And if I find a willing homeowner, what's the next step? P.S. My goal is cash flow with no outside buyers. I don't know what you mean by with no outside buyers, to be honest, Tiffany. However, is this the right thing? Okay. So here's where I'm going to make a suggestion, Tiffany, is that you review the information in Cashflow Foundations. Because when you're asking me, is this the right thing? By converse, you're saying there's a wrong thing. It's something. If it's the one that you're going to actually execute, then yeah, it's perfect. Your marketing techniques are marketing techniques. They all work. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Everything works. Nothing doesn't. So, is it the right thing to start with? If you've got the money for the postcards and letters that you can hit them 7 times or whatever it is that your strategic plan is, then great. And you're going to do it. Perfect. If you're not going to do it and you're just saying it, then it's clearly the wrong thing. There's, no wrong way to talk to the right person. The question is are you going to do that? If you find a willing homeowner, what's the next step? Is to put the property under contract. Again, that's going to be found in your Deals at Discounts materials. So between two things are coming to my mind, Tiffany. Let me show you real fast, just in case you or someone else who has the same questions is watching. Here's, I'm going to just show you where you can go find them. So long as you have upgraded your account, you have access, etc. And if you haven't upgraded your account, just send us an email saying, hey, I'd like to add in or lead machine, etc. And we'll do our best to make sure that you know what that takes and you can add lead machine to your account. But right now, here is where we are. So if you are a core member, what I said is the foundations courses. That's right over here. That's what you would be looking at to get the mindset, the right or wrong, right versus wrong attitude. And we've got to begin to deal with that. But Deals at Discounts Complete course is what we're talking about when it comes to putting the property under contract, or you could start with the crash course at the end of the day. And then when it comes to the lead generation techniques, that's why we created Lead Machine. It is literally a bunch of low cost to no cost lead generation techniques that turn you into a lead machine. That's the whole point, is so that you have the ability to always have your funnel full of new potential deals, prospects, investors, etc., without having to spend a ton of money on marketing. Mostly because I had no idea of how to do that when I first got started. So I figured I'd share that with you because it resonates with a lot of people. Again, if you're watching live, Tiffany, I don't know what you mean by no outside buyers. So I'm sure that means something to you. Whatever that is, let me know. Bob, let's see. Bob's got a question. My interest in real estate investment is to provide affordable housing. Okay. Is there any specific course that you offer that will help me navigate the political process, like advertising directly to people in homeless shelters? You wouldn't advertise directly to people in homeless shelters. You would talk to, well, okay, let me start at the beginning. Is there a specific course that you offer that will help me navigate the political process? The answer is no. You're off in that you don't advertise directly to the people in homeless shelters. You find the agencies, the nonprofits usually in that geographic area, and you develop a relationship with those individuals and you try to get your properties on their lists, etc., or at least make the workers aware that your properties exist. So you don't advertise to the people in the homeless shelters. Like one of our properties we've used for battered women in the past. And it's because we have a relationship with the agency that they quote unquote run to. That's how you do that. That's not an advertising process. This is real estate is very relationship driven. This is not a sit back, some white ivory tower. I don't really have to talk to people. Let me just put my marketing out there and it's all going to work for me. No, you're going to put your feet on the street, or you're going to have somebody put their feet on the street, and you're going to be face to face with real people who have real problems, and you're going to really solve them. So question 2, just started reading your book today. Thank you. For those of you who don't know, the book he's referring to is Cashflow Diary, 10 Steps to Creating Wealth in Any Economy. No leads for investors. That's unfortunate, but you can fix that. No credit, no money. I understand. But I saw a property and I intend to write an offer on it. Okay. Is there a specific format that I should put the said offer in? Again, with that's for those of you, most everybody here should have access again to the tools section. So all I'm going to do is click over to the tools. We produce the quick offer kit right here. The quick offer kit, just hit the download button. You'll be able to have the documents that allow you to go and get those questions answered in terms of how to write that offer. All right. What's this? Didn't want to vanish on us. No, Susan, I did not. That was the goal. I live in the UK. Okay. I heard you on iTunes. Awesome. I have never heard anything like this before. It's because I have an accent, man. I heard you on Thursday. Wow. Even though you are in a different country, will the same technique work over here? Yes. I know the housing market is very different over here. That's true. But will the same strategy work over here? Absolutely. You have made a worried for the future middle-aged man very enthusiastic. Awesome. Okay, Derek, gotcha. Now I understand. I was like, what? Derek, in the UK, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're paying attention. And the answer is yes. The information and strategies that I'm sharing require two things. As long as you have the legal right to own property in the country that you're doing business in, and there are people present, you should be able to do most of these strategies. The only time there's ever a challenge is in the tax category, because everybody's tax jurisdiction is different. And it's not so much a challenge, it's just There are some benefits that exist in some jurisdictions and some that don't, which is why your deal should never be dependent upon a tax strategy. If it takes a tax strategy to make your deal work, you don't really have a deal. Okay. So it should work without the tax strategy, but with the tax strategy, it should only make it better. Just keep that in mind. I'm glad I could make a middle-aged man very enthusiastic. In fact, we have a number of participants in a variety of countries. Let me see if I can pull it up. I might actually be able to pull this up for you real fast. Before you switch to my screen, let me pull it up so that way they can see. I'm going to show you the map of where we have people enrolled and participating from, etc. These are all individuals who have logged in the last 30 days. And whoops, that didn't work. Let me see. And I see, whoa. How do I go back? Okay. Is that the entire world? That's that's twice the entire world. That's too big. And then that's too small. Is that the entire world? Drew, does that look right? Zoom. Is that right? Or do I need to zoom? There you go. No, I got Canada in here twice. Canada ain't that special. Well, it's going to wrap it. Got it. Okay, so this is it. So as you can see, we have a number of people across many different continents and many different cities and many different areas. And again, these are the active participants. There's a lot of you on the west coast of the United States. And again, you can see we have South America. I was like, South, which one is that? South America. We've got a number of people over in the European. What is this? Somebody's in the middle of an island somewhere. Hawaii. Okay, got it. Wow, that looks so far away. It is. It's like, wow, that's really far. Okay, so, and when we switch to, say, all users, now we can see people in the Philippines. We've got people in Japan, I'm guessing. I see lots of in Australia, South America, Alaska. I mean, we've got people literally, hey, Africa, go ahead. We've got a lot of people in a lot of different countries. Again, obviously, most of the people are in North America, but it's not limited to that is all I'm really trying to say. So hopefully that helps. Is there another question? No. Oh, Brittany again. Brittany, as I progress to do my first deal, I must ask for those who do deals in a state other than the one they live in. Do you have to have or hire someone go look at the property? No, you don't have to. I know Jay doesn't look at the properties he buys. Well, that's not 100% accurate. I don't look at single family houses, but if it's an apartment complex, cell tower, hotel, those types of things, I'll go. But how do you make sure it is what the seller says it is? Got it. Well, here's my thought process. I'm thinking the inspection during the due diligence phase. Am I close? Yeah, that, Brittany, you hit the nail on the head. Most of us are not trained at inspecting a building. So we can go see a wall and it's just a wall. I mean, we don't know any more information than we did without seeing it, other than the wall is physically present. I can find out that the wall is physically present from an inspection report. And more importantly, when reading that ultra boring and long inspection report, I can also find out the condition of that wall according to someone who's trained to look at those types of things. I find that to be a way more efficient use of time. Now, there is an advantage to going to visit the properties, because you can tend to develop your plays better, figuring out what else, what other income generating opportunities exist, as well as what expense lowering opportunities may exist that the numbers themselves don't present. So there is definitely an advantage to doing so, but when the way you have it worded, do you have to? No, you don't have to. Is it a good best practice? Sure, it's fine, but it should not nor should it be your limiting factor in any way, shape, or form. Kevin, where can I find the 40-point system? Okay, so y'all just today are picking apart all the things that I've not done yet. The 40-point system's not done. We don't have the creative acquisitions is not yet finished, and investor identity is not yet finished. And yes, I know the multifamily course is not yet finished. We are working on it. Keywords, multifamily course is actually at the front of that and is being worked on as we talked about. So the other three, they're coming. It's just, there's very few of us at this moment, and we've not hired anybody to replace those that left. And we've made a lot more progress because of it, I think. So we're working towards getting back to creating more stuff for you guys. that we've shared with you. So if you were in some of the live mastermind groups, you probably already have access to the 40-point system. But there hasn't been any supporting materials to go along with that created as of this exact moment. However, I have on good suspicion that there will likely be a paid live event that would have a paid streaming component to it. For some of you, if you just pay attention, you'll see. And when it comes about, you might find some of these very things that you're talking about that are coming down the pipe, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because remember, Cashflow Foundation was just the beginning of a 3-part system, cash flow accumulation and a cash flow automation. Those two things are coming. Just stay tuned. We're doing the best we can. You already have 200 hours plus of videos and you're just like, I want more. Really? Have you actually watched it all? I don't know. Anyway, Sep, Jay, can you explain the underwriting process for an office building? I've been asked to syndicate an office building in a Nordstrom area for a fast-growing software startup. I'm unclear how to evaluate purchase price 3 million square feet, 7,000 square feet. That seems very small. Market range 225 to 240 a square. What additional info do you need? The short answer, Sep, is I specifically avoid office commercial real estate. However, I would treat it very similarly to a apartment building. And it's going to come down to evaluating each individual lease. That's the issue, is that you're going to have each individual lease. Each individual lease could technically be completely different than the others. So you're going to look at them like an apartment building, underwrite it very, very similarly to an apartment building. However, there's this really big nebulous number that you are always going to have to deal with tenant by tenant, and that's tenant improvement, which is one of the reasons I've stayed away from office to begin with, period. So hopefully that helps. Obviously your income, NOI, all those things still apply. It's just what's included in those expenses. The major piece is that new tenant improvement number and what is the quality and durability of those leases, because you've got to deal with each office as something separate, because the leases are probably not uniform. Jay, by the way, I raised another $800,000 in private money in the last 3 months, which brings me to $1 million. Justin, I just want to submit. Remember a few months ago when you were bugging me about does this work and can it happen, blah blah blah. I just want you to remind yourself that you were the one asking me, and I told you, don't stress, don't worry about it, just follow the system. So good job, my friend. Definitely really, really good job. Glad to hear that. Everybody, please keep doing it. Please keep making that happen. All right. Oh, another one. Sandy, I am working with a seller, real estate investor who has a package of properties. Okay. In another state, who along with a list of properties, he sent inspection reports. Is it a good idea to ask for reports from all those sellers and investors I'm talking to about properties? I had not thought about it until just now. It will eventually matter, but it doesn't matter until it doesn't matter until you have. I don't care about it until we're under contract. It doesn't matter. Many people try to get that information up front, but it's irrelevant if we never enter into a contract. If we enter into a contract, then I care. I don't care until then. So it's absolutely a waste of time, in my opinion, to try to get that information before the offer is actually on the table. You derive no value. You waste more time, and you just invest more time in something you don't yet own or have a potential of even owning. So, yeah. Once you have a potential of owning it, yeah, it matters. Until then, it doesn't matter. Gladys, good morning. I was talking to a guy yesterday who has 10 acres of rural land he wants to use as a stress-free getaway destination. He said he is looking for investors because he wants to construct a 6-bedroom log cabin lodge on the property. Okay. How do I help somebody like this? He wants to charge a $2,500 per event on the land. I'm brand new to investing. He is experienced in farming and facilitating events, just not real estate. Got it. Gladys, the best way for you to provide value is to connect him with sounds like he needs a connection to a builder. I don't know where this is. If it happens to be in California, what is her name? Paige, I don't know if she's watching right now, but Paige, who's in the group, would be the first person that comes to mind. I know she has some building experience, and would be the person. So if you're in the Facebook group, make sure, speaking of which, let me just show everybody. When you're logged in, click the community tab, because when you click the community tab, it's going to pop you over to the Facebook group. And inside the Facebook group, you are able to communicate with a number of the other members from all those countries that you saw earlier who are there and participating. And you have the ability to talk with them about, what may be something that you need. So I would start with that. This is for anybody with land. And I know Sandy's got some land and she needs the exact same thing. She needs a builder. In my opinion, she just needs to put some wind farms on that thing and move on. If he wants to build a log cabin, sounds great. I don't know if that's the highest and best use for the property, but if it is, that's great. If that's what he wants to do and he can find a builder that can build it, I think that's really all that's missing. You just need to facilitate a connection, Gladys, because you don't have the experience and knowing how to go vertical on this piece of property. He needs a connection to someone who can go vertical. Architect, a builder, an architect would probably be a good one too, so that he has the ability to figure out how much that might actually cost. So, Justin, you mean all the confrontations that we had? Yes, Justin, that's exactly what I mean. All the confrontations that we had for a whole bunch of questions that didn't matter, and that the only thing that mattered was getting you to go out there and open your mouth and do the work that you've been doing, because you disappeared for a little while, and I'm just glad you disappeared, and that meant you were actually doing the work, and that you just didn't, disappear. So that's good. Sep, I haven't been able to obtain the office building P&L or existing tenants lease because it is owner occupied. They do not have a lease. Building will be delivered vacant at closing. No TI required. That's where I'm struggling. Oh, TI will be required as soon as you put a new person in there. If it's delivered vacant, even more TI is required. That's the whole point. I hate it even more. You took what was possible and turned it into something I really don't want. Because I don't know how many tenant office building, like is this a multi-tenant office building, if it's a single tenant office building, either way it go, it's an office building. Here's what you need to be looking at. How easy is it for an office building? I don't care the business, but for that type of, actually I do care the business, because how easy is it for that building or those jobs to be sent to another country, another state, another jurisdiction? And please don't say that this is an office building in California, because those office jobs are on the way out because of just everything that happens in California. So, Sep, that's my concern. My concern is the durability of the tenant. Now, if there is a play, it could be a change of use play. Can this building that's currently an office building become something else? Aha! Now we've got something to deal with. But the question is, I don't know. And are you going to buy it at a cheap enough price to be able to do a change of use play in this particular idea? And I don't know about zoning as well. So all of those things make a huge difference. Huge difference. Are we getting any closer to the contract examples? I just need an example of a Q2 assignment example. Okay, Aaron, and everyone waiting for the contract examples, those are being delivered into a lot of our mastermind group participants are going to be the ones with them. As far as assignments, you're not writing your documents anyway, so it's absolutely useless for you to have an example. What you need to do is you need to explain to the attorney, here's the benefits that I'm trying to confer to the partner in this deal. He or she knows how to write that up. You provide zero value in understanding how to write the document, because you shouldn't be writing your documents in the first place. Those of you who are in the Raising Private Capital group, we just went over this, as you remember. So, none of that. Yeah, but those documents are coming again. They're going to be part of the Raising Private Capital people. They're likely to be the first ones to see those. Lots of questions in both places. I'm just like, where am I going next? Sandy, I have a question that by now I should know the answer to. Okay, well, but I'm asking anyway. As I'm talking to investors who are making verbal commitments for funding my deals, even before the deals are actually real, tangible thing, because they are wanting to work with me, should I open a trust account and start actually taking the funds from these people? Can you please walk me through the process so I can avoid making mistakes? Got it. That's up to you. If you feel like they're going to still have the money when the time comes and that they're actually going to perform, then there's nothing to do. If your concern is they're going to spend the money or it's not going to be there, or you just want this safety blanket of knowing that the money is there so that when you need it, it's ready to go, then you're going to establish a blind offering. So you're going to talk to a securities attorney and you're going to get the paperwork started and you're going to establish a blind offering so that people have some place to deposit the money into. It's not a trust account, but it's a blind offering. And then that's what you're going to do at the end of the day. Kyle. Hey, Kyle. How do you protect your equitable interest when wholesaling a note? How do you protect your equitable interest when wholesaling a note? Okay. The reason that I'm thinking through what you're saying, and I'm trying to figure out where the question's coming from, because it's no different than the asset is irrelevant. The question is do you have the note under contract? Do you have an agreement with the note seller that says they're willing to sell you the note? If you have that agreement, there's nothing more to do. It's the exact same as a house. I'm just making sure that I'm not missing something in your question. At the end of the day, as long as you have the note under contract with the seller, you should be fine. There's no more. You should have an agreement, written agreement that says they're selling it to you, just like you would if it was a house. They're selling it to you. Sep, the software startup wants the deal because of the TI the existing owner did. It is single tenant. I got you, Sep, but there still will be more TI. I promise you. There is no such thing as move-in ready. We're not changing anything. And that's great. There's some infrastructure there that makes it valuable. Awesome. If the software company wants the deal, then here's how they're going to get it. They're going to put up a ton of cash right now and give it to you, non-refundable. And now that makes me a little bit more comfortable for you. So it sounds like what you're saying is they want you to be the real estate owner. Great. Have them pay a year's worth up front, have them front all of the TI, have them take care of every possible expense that could ever come up so that you don't have to come out of pocket for anything, including closing costs, so that they have the burden of the risk on them. If they love the building as much as they say, then great. But my guess is they don't have the cash for that, or they would rather use their cash somewhere else and they're trying to leverage your cash and for you to take the risk. And that's what I don't want, because if they change their mind, if they don't sign that lease, if, that's going to be a challenge. Sandy, and by the way, I spoke to the property management on the big island where that land is. I also have the land in Texas and Oklahoma, and they said I could put up a singular windmill, but they were concerned about my bothering neighboring properties. Then I started thinking, a rental cabin 2 or 4 costs, it's more than an acre. Rain catchment system, septic too, but there is electricity to the air. Maybe a cell phone tower would be good. What about that? Yeah, exactly. I don't care. Cell phone tower is a perfect answer too. The question, and that's what you have to deal with. So this is that whole Walt Disney thing, right? Walt Disney, in order to build Disneyland, I had to make sure I got that right, he had to go to each individual landowner and get them, instead of having to lobby to get them to agree, he decided to buy the land, right? From each one of them, assemble it, put it together. Same thing happens when you're taking a change of use play or you're putting something in a neighborhood. Occasionally, especially if you have to change zoning, you're going to need the help of the other individuals in the neighborhood to say, hey, why don't you buy into this? This is a great thing for the community. This happens all the time with stadiums. Stadiums often go where people don't want them. And in order to compensate the people for getting a stadium in their area, hey, we're going to build a park and we're going to build a this and we're going to donate a that so that you have this now in your neighborhood. Or I've also heard of stories where someone donated a police department, which I thought was awesome. He's like, cool, where you let me build what I want and I'm going to build a police department next door. Well, okay, that makes me feel safer. That's one way to get the yes. So the point is, if you're going to build something, build it. If it's a great use of the land, then do so. And I get the fact, if just because there's a concern that's not a no, that just means, okay, let's figure out if that's the best way to go. Build a cell tower, build something. Don't let the land sit vacant. It's just costing you money at that point. Anyway, I wanted to take it to a lawyer as a template. It's not going to, Aaron, one, if I remember correctly, you're in Canada. Two, there is no template because every time you do a Q2 deal, it's going to be completely different than the last one. There is no template. It's what we call a modified equity deal. And again, for those who are in the Raising Private Capital group, you know exactly where I'm coming from. There is no template. You're not going to make it simpler. In fact, you're only going to make it more confusing by taking it to them. And if I remember correctly, you're in Canada. You guys don't deal with the Q2 stuff, and most Canadian citizens don't even count the depreciation in any way, shape, or form. So you're dealing with a completely different tax structure. Now, if you still want to, you probably should keep track of it, especially if you're working with U.S. citizens. But if you're working with U.S. citizens on Canadian real estate, it probably still isn't going to apply. The point is, you don't need, what you need is to communicate verbally to the person who's constructing your deal, which is not you, but is who's actually writing the words. You just need to communicate the benefits that you're trying to confer. Once you've done that, they're going to come up with their way of doing it. There is no templated way of doing this. I promise you on that one for sure. The boilerplate stuff is what's already in there. I focus on the stuff that isn't boilerplate so that you can get more deals done than not. Feel like I'm just going today. This is awesome. All right, Chin, what kind of meetup groups do you think are best for bringing more people to the cash flow gains? Boom. Great question. One of the best questions so far today. Because this one is not obvious. This one is not obvious. Most people think, well, if I'm going to bring more people to the meetup group or to my funnel system or into my business, what I need to do is that I need to go to more cash flow gains. Wrong answer. Absolutely wrong answer. Here is the best way. So, if I were you, and I am you to some degree, I'm going to start typing in. So let's see, 50 miles of Mission Viejo is a little further than I would like to go. But let's say, for example, even though I'm not, but let's say, for example, I was interested in wine. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look for wine groups that are near my place, because if I'm interested in wine, let's just think about it. Think about it. Does wine cost any money? Is it a little money or is it a lot of money? If I have an interest in wine, does that typically mean I might have some disposable income? The answer is probably yes. So I would want to hang around others who have that same demographic if it's something that I'm interested in. I'm going to explore the hobbies that I'm genuinely, hear that word, interested in, because otherwise it's not going to matter. Photography is an expensive, quote unquote, hobby. It's great business, I'm sure, but it's an expensive hobby. Now, we've turned it into a whole bunch of other things for us, so it makes it work. But if you are around people who have pro photography equipment, trust me, it's not the camera that costs a lot, it's the lenses. And if they have those types of lenses and they have good photography skills, that's great. But it's an expensive, quote unquote, hobby for most people. And I want to hang around them. That means they have disposable income for the higher end cameras, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We have an affinity that's outside of what we do already. And guess what? When I asked the question, have you ever considered getting involved in real estate investing? The answer is likely yes, but they have something else completely to do. They don't have the time. They want to work on their craft. They want to do what they do best and enjoy that type of thing. And it's perfect. That's what I would do. That's how I'm going to use Meetup. Here's another one. And this is one that Jacob was talking about recently. And because, the Belmont Stakes is recently over with, this one would be probably a good one. Horse people, not people who have no voice, people who like horses. Okay. Because a horse is an expensive, and I do mean expensive, there ain't no quotes around that one, animal to house and take care of, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Therefore, you darn sure tootin' they got extra money some way, shape, or form. They are probably own real estate already. They're probably looking for more real estate in various shape or forms because they just want to keep owning their horse. So if I had an interest in horses, I just happen to be allergic to the darn things. So if I had an interest in horses, I would totally be hanging around those people, because guess what? They want more ways to buy more horses or do their horse thing, whatever that might be. You can take any one of your hobbies and do this. Anyone. Because remember, you're developing a long-term relationship. One of the investors I sat with earlier today, he is totally into water sports, and I am so not, but he likes boating. Well, if he likes boating, do you think I have a project that probably fits with that might be on an island in an international destination? And shake your head, yes. And those are the things that I'm talking about. You've got to find an affinity that you genuinely care about. Here's another one that I think would be good. Well, it's good for me, is coins and gold and silver, etc. You're not going to find, I don't know how you're going to find, may not find a ton of them, but individuals who are coin collectors, they think differently, or people who care about alternative assets, or those types of things. These are all things that I have a natural interest in. So what about, and here's another one, radio controlled, you know what? I'm just going to put RC and see what comes up. I like things that fly. So a radio controlled, helicopter, I'm all about that. Radio controlled airplanes, all about that. And again, it's another quote unquote expensive hobby. It's a hobby that costs a lot of money. Not necessarily to buy the darn thing, but to buy the replacement parts for the darn thing after you crash. Trust me, I know. Anyway, I think you're getting the point where I'm coming from. It can be a great way to do it, but this is how you're going to use meetup groups to bring more people to your games. Sep is asking, Jay, I bet you regret ever saying that you would provide the document that has long been awaited. No, I don't regret it. I just, what I think I've failed to communicate is how unnecessary it is. I mean, you're going to read it and it's not going to help you move forward any faster. You're still going to have to do the exact same steps. You're still going to have, because it's literally useless to you you're just going to see the words. It's not going to clear anything up, specifically for you. And you're still going to have to say the same thing. You can't even point to it and say, I want to do like this. It's not going to make it, whatever. We'll give it to you. You'll have it. I hope it helps in some way, shape, or form. I just don't know how it's going to help you. And I hate the idea of you guys waiting on it. Like it's going to unlock some keys to the kingdom when seriously, I want you to keep it simple and say to the attorney or whoever's constructing the deal, all we want to do is we want to make sure that we give 100% or 20% or 40% or 50% of the depreciation to the other guy. That's it. There's nothing more you need to know how to do. So long as you have the physical ability to say those words, you're good. Anyway, Sep says, Jay, are insurance claims handled differently with the seller finance deal compared to bank finance deal? Does the seller have to authorize the insurance claim? No. I mean, if it's a seller finance deal, they're still in the quadrant 3. They're still the lender. There's nothing for them to authorize per se. They may need their signature depending on the amount of the claim, or if you're like paying off the note or something of that nature. But they don't necessarily have to authorize the insurance claim in any way, shape, or form. No, there's nothing to really do there. All right, Juliet from Facebook. Jay, when you use other people's money, is it important to the investor to have their funds flow through your corporation? Okay. Does it make the investor feel their money is going to be invested legitimately? None of that matters. If it's important to the investor, they're going to let you know. So that's going to be, is it important to the investor? That's going to be on a person by person basis. Does the investor feel their money is going to be invested legitimately? Again, I don't think the two are connected in any way, shape, or form, which I said there. And Julie, okay, I was thinking when you're talking about investing $200,000 of someone's money, if the money flows through your corporation's bank or another venue, I don't understand the concern, and the money, I don't know. I don't understand the concern. Whoever's writing the check to make the deal happen is whomever is writing the check to make the deal happen. I don't know that it makes anybody feel one way or another. It's just the structure you're using, having an entity or not. Here we go. Good Lord. All right, Susan, let's look at this. Susan, so I'm making cold calls, yay, on folks who have had their homes publicly listed as having gotten a list pendants or a pre-foreclosure notice. Okay, not a secret here. This is important. All right, sure. So I call, and on those rare times I get a human being, that's true, on the other end of the line, I use my line, hi, my name is Susan, and you don't know me, but I'm an investor looking for homes in your area that people might want to sell. Do you know anyone who might be looking to sell? And they flat out tell me no, they don't know anyone like that. Correct. Come on, people. You just got a notice and the bank's about to take your home away from you and you don't know anybody. So what am I screwing up? Got it. Great. First of all, Susan, I commend you for taking responsibility because it is if those are the exact words you're saying, I'm going to reword those so that you can see it. How do I approach them without flat out calling them liars? Because their own home is the one I'm calling about. Because, that would be really rude. I just hit that dead stop brick wall and it's my recurring nightmare all over again. I've just been tossed out on stage mid-show and don't have a clue on the play, the script, the comedy, tragedy, or what my character is supposed to be. The best I've been able to lamely stammer out is to ask them to pass along my name and number if they come across anyone like that. Got it. No one is looking to sell. Everybody's looking to receive some money. So, here's how I'm going to change that. Hi, my name is Jay and you don't know me. And in fact, I really hate making calls like this, but a guy's got to eat. I'm going to inject a little bit more humor. That's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm using humor to lower the resistance. Remember, review income infusion. But, I'm an investor, or I might actually not say I'm an investor. So I'm looking for homes in the area and I'm hoping to find one that someone is looking to sell. Do you happen to know anyone who wants to receive a really big check for their house? Do you know anybody who wants some money right now for their house? I am ready to write a check. Do you know somebody who would like to receive a lump sum of cash? All of those are way better than do you know anyone who might be looking to sell? I know nobody looking to sell, but I know a ton of people who want to receive some money, especially if it's a lump sum of cash. I've created a picture. Do you know anyone who could use a lump sum of cash in the next 30 days? I do. Really? See, I'm painting a picture. I'm future casting. I'm telling them what some of the benefits are of continuing this conversation in a completely different way. Saying, do you know anyone who might be looking to sell? That sounds too far in the future. I'm saying lump sum of cash in the next 30 days. Do you know anyone who'd like to receive something like that? Someone who wants a really big check? So yeah, that's really what I'm going to do. Insert a little bit more humor at the front, and then I'm going to paint a better picture on the back end. And I'm willing to bet you're going to get people to laugh. And if you can get them to cry and laugh, you can get them to buy. And then they're going to be on the other end of that conversation, and you'll be ready to go. Ready to go. Appeal to the thin wallet. Yes, Susan, you got it. Oh man, you guys are funny. Is there any more questions in there? No? By the way, Mike Fish, it's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while in here. So, I'm glad that you're there. What's the next slide here? Okay, guys. So if you guys got another question, now would be the time. We have a few minutes left. And yes, you probably noticed if you were a member of the, what's it called? Raising Private Capital Mastermind Group. You noticed yesterday I was wearing a swanky little shirt from the USA Basketball. And today I'm wearing a completely different swanky little shirt from USA Basketball. I literally have enough USA Basketball stuff to probably go an entire week without wearing the same thing twice. And it'll all say USA Basketball on it. It's pretty awesome. I got to hang out with people who are my height and bigger. And that's the fun part, is because I finally felt like a normal person as opposed to a giant who had to slouch and make himself feel small simply because everybody else was so tiny. It was fun. Whereas when you come back home, everybody's tiny again and you're the giant. It's awesome. Aaron, okay, since the contract would not help, could I get your help in crafting the words? Yes, Aaron, the words are, and I quote, we're trying to give 20% of the depreciation to party A, whatever party A's name is. That is crafting the words. That's specifically to the attorney. So if you're talking about crafting the words to the investor, again, we're giving you 20% of the tax benefits. Okay, great. That is, again, crafting the words. That 15-year-old made you look short. I know, Susan. He's 7'3". That's what was so awesome, is that I finally got to feel short and had to look up at kids. That was weird. I'm like, hi, how are you? The guards, that's what I get so excited. You can probably hear it in my voice. The guards, this is what I try to tell people so many times. When you're watching on TV, you're seeing them relative to each other. So they look normal. But compared to us, I'm the short guy on the court. With the exception of people like Nate Robinson, right? He's like just short no matter where he goes. So the point is, I'm the short guy. For all of you who think I'm tall, I'm trying to tell you I'm not. They're ginormous. Not a question, just a testimonial. I used your do you happen to know approach with the seller I've been working with, and guess what? It worked. Someone does know someone. They usually do. The more specific you are, speaking of which, when you're doing a do you happen to know, this is the same reason why, Susan, in your question, I wanted to get more specific and paint a clearer picture. Do you know anyone who would be looking to receive a really fat check in the next 30 days? I'm being way more specific. When I go, do you know anyone? Anyone is no one. If I say, hey, do you know someone who's 6'4", African American, and can teach you some real estate investing? All of you just came up with a name, right? It's very, very easy when I'm very specific. If I say something else, anyone, if I go too broad because I'm thinking, I got to capture anybody, nothing comes to the mind. When you're more specific, it works wonders. Okay, so let's finish. She does know someone, the next door neighbor to her big property, and I spoke with him, and he is looking to sell the property for pretty cheap. So I will put it under contract. And I did that with another random property, and guess what? He said yes too. So look at me. Thanks to you. So thank you. You're welcome. I have no incentive. Remember, my intent, and I'll be very transparent, my intent is to get you to pay your membership fee forever. So I have no incentive to not tell you anything that doesn't work. Period. That's my intent. And then to get you to be so freaking excited that everyone you run into, you tell them like, look, you got to come here and don't worry about the money. You got to pay for it. That's what I want to do. Because I know if I do that, one, I've given you more in use value than I take from you in cash value. And that's all of you, right? I could add up all the money all of you have given to us. And I know that to any one of you, I've given you specifically more in use value than that one large number. So that's the goal, is to give you more in use value than taking cash value and turn a number of people into real estate entrepreneurs. That would be really awesome. So we can go out there together and provide some more clean, safe, affordable housing. As I told the Raising Private Capital group this before, I tell you guys now, at some point I really want to own an NBA basketball team. Some of those people could be you, those of you watching right now, which is great. I don't know where they're going to come from. I don't know who they are, but I know a number of you. We're all on that path to becoming more something different, greater, and providing value. Here's the thing. Every asset has to pass hands, right? Every piece of real estate was previously owned by a different person than it currently is today. And it's going to change to somebody. So I think it should be us. Sandy, I just had to get over my paperwork fears. Paperwork should not be a fear. I know, silly, but true. Okay, that's fine. You can have a paperwork fear. It should not be a fear. You're not the one writing the words. Your job is to communicate what should be in the paperwork. Your job is to communicate the vision. That's it. Stop stressing. What will be the topic of the next mastermind group? Tyler, we don't know, to be honest. We have not talked about it internally. We've been listening to you guys. We're contemplating putting out a survey. We have a couple of candidates per se. I know some have asked for the creative acquisition stuff, like, the difference between a purchase money mortgage versus a land contract versus a, subject to versus master lease versus lease option. You get where I'm going with that, right? We've also had a number of people, and I'm paying attention to the conversations that are going on in the Facebook group. A number of you have questions about marketing and lead generation, like a number of you. So that's been something that I keep seeing as a repeated theme. So honestly, I don't know, because I don't know what you guys need next. I can guess all day long, but I don't know what you guys need next. And we've been contemplating putting out a survey to get your input once we come up with a number of different options of what it is so that we can make sure we fit the need, because I want everybody to grow and I want to help as many people as possible. While some of you may say, well, here's what I need. If there's only like 3 of you, that's all well and good, and like 300 of you need this other thing, then clearly we need to focus on that. So we don't know what the topic of the next mastermind group is. It'll be coming up soon. Some of you who are on our highest level programs, you're already opted in for it anyway. Some of you who are on the year-long mastermind subscription, obviously you guys are already opted in for it already. So, obviously whatever it is, we're going to do our best to make it awesome, because that's what we do. And it's going to be a skill set that you need. Because also remember, Cashflow Diary started because I was trying to document what was in here so that my kids, if something happened to me, could duplicate what daddy did just by watching videos online and answering some exercises and questions, doing the very same things that you're doing. You guys are kind of like that proof to my kids, per se, that all you got to do is just watch your dad and do what dad said. It'll work. Trust me. So, it's all good. Susan, what do you want your kids to understand? What do I want my kids to understand especially? Got it. I guess the main thing is that it's a skill set. So in Cashflow Foundations, we talk about the path to becoming. That's probably the most important thing that I don't talk about enough. But that's the point is it starts with that desire. You use that desire to take your number one asset, time, to gain new talent or skills. And you take those new talent or skills then to put you into new relationships. With those new relationships, you gain credit and credibility. And from that new credit and credibility, then you're going to get to cash. Then you get to cash flow. Then you get to significance. And so long as you keep the sequence intact, you're fine. You can learn anything you want in that particular realm and way. And that's literally what we've been doing, as you guys have now witnessed, some of you from the beginning, online. For those of you who've been around a while, you remember some of the prior versions of how we used to do things, and it just, well, let's just say we've improved. And I'm happy that we've improved. So just keep that in mind, at the end of the day. So I like I said, I don't know what's next or what the next mastermind group is going to be. I just know that I enjoy doing them. I enjoy you guys allowing me to influence you. I enjoy all of you who decide to show up on a Tuesday to get more of your questions answered. And hopefully I just hope that it helps. I assume it helps because a number of you show up for a while, then you disappear, you go earn some checks, and then maybe you come back, maybe you don't, I don't know. But it seems like you came, you get what you want, and then you leave. And I'm like, okay, that's good. But I guess the main goal is I want all of us to stick around and teach the next person. Tyler's been doing a great job of that. Seth does a great job of that. Haya does a great job of that. A number of you, Paige, and all of you keep contributing to those who are in the Facebook group, which is exactly what I want. And I'm starting to watch how these things are happening, which is great. And because the more that I can stay focused on helping us grow, the faster we can start reaching into other countries and other jurisdictions. And you won't have to go too far. You say, hey, I need someone in Nebraska. I had to pick a state I've never been in. So that's where that came from. I need someone in Nebraska, and they could be in the Facebook group already, whom you already built a relationship with, and you'll be able to move forward that much faster. And you can pass deals back and forth and get stuff done. I've got a vision that I want to see accomplished, and it's turned out to take a lot more work than I thought. But that's okay. I'm committed to working it through, and you guys have been hanging in there. And hopefully the number of you have been taking checks, and you find it worthwhile, and letting your friends know that, hey, I found something that's different than what you might think. Yes, it costs money. Yes, but it'll be worth every penny. And I know a number of you have come to the aid and have done that for us, especially in the Facebook group. And I appreciate that, because it's hard to communicate a lot of this in short, pithy marketing sayings, etc. We're doing the best we know how. And that's great. So you're watching evolution in front of you in terms of me and us growing all the time, while still doing a whole bunch of real estate stuff. So it's just the way it is. Nonetheless, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you've taken the time. Don't remember, star, rate, and review the podcast, cashflowdiarypodcast.com. If you're not already subscribed, go subscribe, star, rate, and review. That way you have an opportunity to win whatever it is we might be giving away. Well, I do actually eat someone in Nebraska. I have a fixer out there. Yeah, you get my point. Anyway, star, rate, and review so that you have the opportunity to go and win something that we're giving away for free whenever we are giving something away for free. Again, you guys keep telling people about the podcast, tell them about the YouTube channel. To share, if we've helped you, help us help more people, because that's what we really want to do. Give more people some hope. Instead of begging for a job, let's go create some, and we can create them together. Anyway, it's been fun talking to you guys today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.